Let's talk to Matthew in Ohio. Matthew, you are on the line with Owen and Jimmy.
Hey, Jimmy. Hey, Owen. So you guys asked for one reason to vote for Trump. I would say that he is diplomatic.
How so?
Okay.
Well, he brokered peace in the Middle East. Remember, he actually served
No,
4 years. I
didn't.
think
He did not broker peace in the
well,
Middle East. You want me to tell you what he
what was it,
really did? I'll
2000?
tell you what he really did.
That's the
Yeah.
silliest thing I've ever heard.
Okay, let me tell you what he really did. The Abraham Accords, it got
Yeah.
negotiations with Israel and one other country, I think, the UAE, to openly trade. And they were hoping it would go further, but then Israel, went in and just destroyed Gaza and killed a whole bunch of people. So I guess that's like right out the window. That was not peace in the Middle East by any stretch of the imagination, not even close. You know what my vision of it would be? It would be Israel going back to the 1967 borders. But they're not going to do that. And we know they're not going to do that. So Trump isn't going to accomplish peace in the Middle East. Nobody is until Israel decides to.
I love
Oh,
too
and
when
even
people want to say
you-
this. First of all, you're trying to make 2 points at the same time. He's diplomatic, and now you're trying to basically say because he's good for wars. He didn't broker shit. Clearly he didn't, because whatever happened didn't prevent that. But I like that we just pretend Yemen doesn't exist, and that under his presidency, we didn't literally, even more so than we do in Israel, directly participate in a Yemeni genocide. I love that we just ignore that. They're like, but no new war started. So the fact that he ramped up other wars in a short period of time, beat the all-time innocent civilian Muslim high record death count, but no new wars began. Sure, he ramped up and shot the others to a 10, and sure, he put us in danger by being absolutely insane and unhinged with Kim Jong-un, and sure, he enabled the autocratic enemy that is Russia and went and just kissed his ass on stage. But what if all of our autocratic opposition could be like, I like this man, he seems useful, I can manipulate, and all of our actual allies go, why is this dude just trying to fuck me right now? But diplomacy, yeah, you're nailing it.
Yeah, I would say that. Well, let me ask you: do you think that Russia and Ukraine would be at war if Trump was president?
Yes,
Of course.
I'm positive they would. That was delayed by
Well,
COVID, nothing to do with Trump.
Even though he's not president, he's even trying to broker peace between the two countries
Incorrect.
at this moment.
What's he doing?
Incorrect.
He's doing nothing. He's just standing there saying, I'm going to broker peace. Well, do it. Why didn't you do it before? Do it.
No,
He's
the
just
reason
a
why he's
shit
not doing it is because he knows Ukraine will not accept it. Because the peace he's trying to broker is, Ukraine, what if you just let them win and have the territories that they want to have? Why don't you just let them do it? You got to go in there and you got to make a deal. If we got invaded by a country, would it be making peace if we were like, okay, Mexico invaded us, as absurd as the notion as that is, but Mexico invaded us, but we have to make peace, and making peace would look like, we'll let them have Louisiana, Mexico, part of California, we'll let them have these territories that were the economic reasons that they're there. That wouldn't be peace, that would be concession, that would be losing the war. He plans to broker peace and end the war by giving the victory to Russia. The idea that you have to make a deal when your sovereignty has been absolutely violated is actually antithetical to the very agreements that we are in with our allies, our various treaties and NATO and everything else. And when you go to Vladimir Putin and you go, if you do a move like this, you're going to end up at least with a positive, even as you show you don't care about your own civilians dying, or rather the military, the people who you conscript into the military, over 70,000 of them dead so far, Russians. Yeah, go ahead and do that. Take that human cost. And while you're not going to get the whole country, we'll give you, in effect, the stuff the country needs to survive, and you'll still be able to claim victory. Matthew, do you know what you're talking about at all?
I don't know. Probably not as much as you guys know, but one thing I do know is that he just said give you one good reason. I do see that, to me, that he's diplomatic, and that even the last 4 years that we had under Trump were way better than, and Kamala can't even answer the question whether it was better or not. But we have to admit that it was way better. It was way better than what it was in the past 3.5 years.
What was way better? What was way better? Specifically, what was way better?
Our country in general.
No, incorrect. He absolutely flubbed the COVID recovery, had no plan. Biden gets into office and goes, hey, let me get that distribution plan for this Operation Warp Speed, because clearly you must have had a plan. Oh, what? The plan was to get a vaccine in your arm, Mr. Trump, and not have a plan otherwise? So COVID, literally he does nothing for. He explodes the deficits with billionaire tax cuts, which literally is part of the inflation happening today, but also adds tariffs, which is part of the inflation today. You are literally raising the cost of goods by lowering the amount we can buy, and you are undermining our relationships with our trade partners. So I'm very confused on what you think was better when in fact the Biden administration, and I'm not a Democrat, I don't even support Biden except over Trump, right? But the Biden administration has actually mitigated the damage he did and corrected the fact that there was no plan for the COVID recovery and zero plan for the actual withdrawal of Afghanistan. All Donald Trump did was say, we're going out by that day and it's going to be a great time. It's going to be easy. It's going to be so easy that I have zero plan. What is it that was better? And by the way, a reminder, Matthew, that had Donald Trump also gotten his way on everything we had tried to do, healthcare in this country would be even worse, because he actually tried to repeal the ACA without a replacement plan. And we know that there wasn't a replacement plan because now here, 8 years later, he still has yet to publish his replacement to the ACA, despite the fact he's been saying it's coming in about 2 weeks. We're going to do a big thing in about 2 weeks. He's been saying that for 8 years and we still haven't seen it. Correct. He doesn't have a plan for shit. Mm-hmm. All he has is rolling with whatever's happening and claiming he did it the best and Biden did it worse and painting everything like that. Matthew, all you are doing is just believing the words out of his mouth without actually knowing the details.
Wouldn't you want someone, though, that even though and he admitted that he didn't have a plan, he said he had a concept of a plan, but he admitted that he had a plan. Wouldn't you want someone that's more honest than what we have going on with the next administration coming in?
I'd want someone with
What
a
are
plan.
you talking? I now don't think Matthew is an actual serious caller. I think Matthew is joking. To call Donald Trump more honest is about the most hilarious thing I've maybe heard ever.
So you think that Donald Trump is more honest than Kamala Harris?
No, I said the opposite. I thought you were. Yes, I think he is. Not only do I think he is less honest, I think he's less honest than you, who I think is probably pretending to be a Democrat to get, or a Republican to get on the show. I actually think the persona you're putting on right now, faking this right now, is actually more honest than Donald Trump on any random day.
You're probably not familiar with me, so that's fine. I mean, you can claim that as much as you want. But no,
Should I be?
Sorry. Yeah, not too much. I mean, I called her. Apparently, I called 21 times, and I'm the
24
most calling person ever.
Could be. You've got 24 calls on our watch. I just don't know that I believe that this persona is authentic when it says such cliches.
Misogynist, conservative, roar person, whatever. So.
I agree. You are a bore person, because it sounded like you were saying bore, and I'm pretty bored with the cliches.
Sure. But I have a reputation that I'm definitely not a Democrat. But anywho, I would say that Kamala Harris has done no interviews.
Kamala.
Really.
She has. So that's already a lie. Already a lie. She also beat him in debate. Was clearly able to answer questions and, for the most part, stay on topic and get under his skin. Her name is Kamala. Say it out loud, Matthew. Kamala.
What
Go ahead, Matthew.
Where is
Kamala.
This Kamala thing coming from?
That's her name. She has told people how to pronounce it. She has corrected it multiple times. It isn't hard. Trying to pronounce it Kamala because people like that it sounds more ethnic and thinks it undermines her instead of just pronouncing it the way it sounds. That's her name.
Well, I'm a New Yorker. I'm as ethnic as it gets.
Doesn't
That's what
matter.
I'm wondering. I'm like, where do the leftists get to the point of like this whole Kamala thing? I've noticed that where it's Kamala.
Just say
it's
her name
Kamala,
right.
just
Your
type-
name.
It's Kamala. Just say her name right. Quit being a dumbass about it.
So what's? I just want to know what the deal is with that. I don't mind saying Kamala.
Mr. New Yorker.
What's her name for now?
Great, that's her
Pardon?
name. Good. From here on, you'll say Kamala.
I'm-
Now make your next
I'm-
point.
I'm from New York. Actually,
I'm from
but-
I'm from
you-
New York, asshole.
you-
Owen's in New York, asshole. All of us say Kamala.
You-
I'm from there. He's in there.
No. He was just saying that I'm from Ohio or something like that. Oh, you can tell he's from Ohio or something.
It says you called in and said your state you called from was Ohio, and I was joking
Yeah.
that you're talking to another person from New York and another person in New York. Owen, people who actually give a shit, they have a hard time saying Kamala.
I've never heard of that problem before, actually. No.
Yeah, Matthew.
Yeah,
I would just accept
she can
the
be called
criticism.
Kamala,
It doesn't
matter.
have-
It doesn't- yeah.
No, it's not. She can be. That's her name. Just call her by her name. It's not Kamala. It's Kamala. Just say her name, bro. Now move on. Say the point and say her name right when you make it.
Yeah. So she can't answer a question, right? We see that.
Uh-huh.
Like, well, and you
Nope,
she can't answer
incorrect.
a question. And when asked,
Incorrect.
hey, are we doing better than the last 4 years? The obvious answer is no, we're not. But for some reason, she can't answer that. Obviously, we know why she won't answer it. So that to
Everything
me
you
shows
just
that
said was
Donald
not
Trump-
correct.
So did she answer it? What was her answer?
Yet, not only she literally made it her closeout, and of course it is. It's literally the points I've already given you. You're sitting here saying she can't answer questions, and yet somehow she can win a debate. Even Fox News agreed that she won the debate.
When asked, what are we better than the last 3.5 years? What was her answer?
I assume it was yes. What specific interview are you asking for?
Yeah, I'm during the debate. What
You
was
know what,
her
Matthew?
answer?
Let's try this. Matthew, I've got a fun thing for you. I'm gonna say an answer, and you're gonna tell me what the question was. Okay? Listen to this. But I think when you talk about the kind of numbers that I'm talking about, that because look, childcare is childcare. It's something you have to have it. In this country, you have to have it. But when you talk about those numbers compared to the kind of numbers that I'm talking about, by taxing foreign nations at levels that they're not used to, but they'll get used to it very quickly. And it's not going to stop them from doing business with us, but they'll have a very substantial tax when they send product into our country. Those numbers are so much bigger than any numbers. That's what we're talking about, including childcare. It's going to take care. We're going to have, I look forward to having no deficits with a fairly short period of time, coupled with the reductions that I told you about on waste and fraud and all of the other things that are going on in this country. What was the question?
I couldn't tell you. It probably it
Yeah,
sounds like
that was
a Trumpian answer. Which
Right. So
Yeah.
Trump can
So,
answer a question, but
I'm not
Harris
asking about Donald
can't.
Trump though.
Harris, hang on, I'm not done. You were saying that Harris
Yeah,
can't answer a question, but Trump can. And that was Trump when asked how he basically plans to help people who need child care and what he would do about the child care tax credit.
Okay, gotcha. My question was, when asked, what was Kamala's answer when she was asked?
You tell me, buddy boy.
Was
I don't
the
have an
last 4
encyclopedic
years-
knowledge. Tell me, buddy.
Pardon?
You tell me.
I didn't get one, so that's why I'm asking you, my friend.
Wait. So what you're saying is you know what she said, but you don't actually know what she said and can't repeat it to me, but your point is actually based on this.
No,
and
I
you
have
want to
no-
see if
I have
I have
no idea what
encyclopedic
she said.
knowledge. So you want to see if I have encyclopedic knowledge on something that you don't actually know, but this is going to make the point. Well done.
No, you're missing my point. My point is, right? We asked whether my point is the last 4 years, Donald Trump was better than the Biden Kamala administration, right? And
That's
when
your point.
asked if that was the case, Kamala did not give an answer.
Oh, yes,
And
she
so
did.
my
And by the way, Matthew,
Okay.
the next time you say
She gave a
Kamala, you're
response.
done.
She gave him a response.
The next
gave a
time you say
response.
Kamala, you are done. Kamala, you can put in the effort. Jesus Christ.
So when
Yes,
so when she
like
gave
a
the
politician
answer, right,
did.
when she gave an answer,
Like a politician did.
sure, yeah.
She
Politicians,
talked
you know,
about
they do what they
hers,
do, right?
the future being better under her, more than she talked about what the past was. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
you have other people going out and stumping for her, people like Pete Buttigieg, who do an incredible job of communicating that it is a delusion. It is a way that they have gaslit. Clearly, you, Matthew, you literally speak like a person who is gaslit, or a person who's like just phony and pretending to be this persona.
You have to
But either way,
I'm religious, so of course I think that's
great,
right.
Matthew.
And not only
Great.
that.
How about I just go ahead and finish my fucking point? She gave a political answer, and it is a delusion and a thing you have fallen for if you legitimately believe that things were not better in the last 4 years and the 4 year prior. Yes, you can point at specific things that were issues, and I love how the Republicans like to go, those aren't issues. If it happened under Biden, Trump couldn't have done it. Meanwhile, they also go, thank goodness Roe v. Wade got turned over. But that happened under Biden. So who overturned Roe v. Wade, Biden or Trump? Or is it the case that the actions you take in one term don't necessarily show their teeth until years later, and in fact are often designed to do that, like Republican tax cuts that only caught up to them the last time they did it because 9/11 happened and then we had a war-based recession afterwards. Otherwise, they were going to do the same thing, temporarily raise the economy, and then it's the next fucker's problem to figure out how that makes things worse and pushes us into a recession. Matthew, at its very core, you seem to have very little understanding of the political gears of this country.
Perhaps. And then are you saying that that's the same reason why the groceries are higher now than they were during Trump's administration?
Most of the inflation is neither president's fault. However, where you could say a president is responsible, the fact of the matter is that America has the lowest inflation of the Western world, and that is because of Biden's policies, even though all these other countries, including more conservative countries, are not doing as well as us because of his policies that reduced it. However, if you also want to go, okay, but what policies increased it? Exploding the deficit by doing giant tax cuts and literally tariffs. And Biden is a bastard for not taking the tariffs away because he's literally just extending it. Not as bad, and I think he did end some of them. But yeah, fuck that guy for doing that. Harris is saying those tariffs are going to go and that she's certainly not going to do all these additional tariffs. Trump's talking about 100, 200% tariffs, basically saying we're going to make inflation happen more because when you try to import something, an American is going to pay a 200% tax to import it. Not China, an American will. So that American will be able to order fewer goods.
All right. So when asked, right, Harris was asked,
I've already answered this new question. I have already answered. Nope, you don't get to just repeat the same question because I've now answered it 3 times, I believe, Matthew.
I wanted to know because you were going on. That's fine, but I wanted to know what was her
Matthew.
answer.
Already answered it 3 times, Matthew. You can either ask a new question and we can move on, and you can go back and watch the clip again because these things are on replay. But I've already answered it, and I'm not interested in repeating myself and this weird, dumb thing where you get to ask the same question again, and I have to come up with a new answer. Otherwise, you win because that's the way dumb people debate. So move on to a new question.
Okay, I'll move on. My next question would be, what are your? And this is kind of just random. I'm really not a very argumentative type, really. What is your thoughts on the open border?
Oh, I wish we had an open border. We do not have an open border, Matthew. It's such bullshit to suggest. We literally have border crossings lower than when Trump was president. Right now, Biden is using the type of executive orders I expect from a more cruel conservative president. To call the border open in any way is an actual joke. We need to go back to an Ellis Island style thing where you very quickly can get asylum, you very quickly can get a worker's permit, and There's a good, easy path to citizenship. We should be welcoming people with open arms, doing vetting to make sure we don't have felons, gang affiliations, and terrorist affiliations. Sure, but it should be an Ellis Island style thing. I wish we had an open border, Matthew. It's insane to suggest that we do, especially now when border crossings are worse, are lower than they were during Trump times, and people like Greg Abbott are allowed to do things like just put razor wire in the water and kill mothers and children. Insane that you even say, what do you think about this open border we have?
All right. So what do you think? Because during Donald Trump's administration, from what I understand, there were no criminals from other countries kicking down doors and people's apartments.
Yes, that is incorrect, Matthew.
And stuff like that.
That is incorrect. There were still gangs in America, and that story in Aurora, as has been told by the actual police force there, which are not left affiliated. I'm from Denver. I promise you, the police there are not some super progressive force, as well as the mayor, as well as the city officials, and as well as the governor have all debunked that the complex was taken over. You saw some gang activity. Also, if your point is so true, why do you rely on hyperbole? Because in the video, they don't kick down the door. They knock on the door is opened, and they walk in. But you see brown people with guns, and look, they are gang affiliated. That part's at least not wrong, but you've added all of this in. Matthew, are you now going to tell me how worried you are about how the people in Springfield are eating the dogs? Do you believe that lie too?
I don't think they're eating dogs and cats and stuff like that. I don't know if they're eating. I know they're eating geese, but that's neither here nor there.
First of all, you don't know they're eating geese because that photo was also debunked, and it turned out that that was a person trying to just steal geese as pets, and they had to return it. The geese thing has also been debunked, but you know what, Matthew? I would not give two shits. You shouldn't eat people's pets. Sure, but let's just say anyone was eating geese. How is that weirder than the fact that people eat deer in this country? Or duck. We literally eat duck at restaurants, or chickens. I give a fuck if geese get eaten. Geese are bastards. Fuck those fuckers and eat the shit out of them.
I think that is the idea, that there's just a wild geese. It just seems kind of taboo, but I don't think, I mean, if you see I see a bunch of rabbits, I want to come and, take a
Would you prefer they were domesticated geese?
They don't need to be domesticated.
Lots of states actually encourage and have incentive programs to kill rabbits, by the way, because the rabbit populations gets too large. Matthew, you have yet to show you understand the foundation of a single point you've offered. Telltale, I'm sorry, I'm talking so much. I should let you get him. I get all.
So let's rewind then. Let's rewind back to 4 years ago when Trump was president versus when Harris and Biden were president. You're arguing that it is not better, but what we see, we don't see the same things that we're seeing going on in those 4 years. The country just is actually worse.
No, you are incorrect. It is better now.
Yikes.
Yikes, what? Matthew, you've not shown you understand a single thing. It doesn't mean that I think that the world is good or that inflation is good. I certainly don't think the gig economy is good, which, by the way, the failed Trump response to COVID exploded the gig economy. We had a massive number of jobs lost, and those jobs were not replaced with jobs that similarly had the same regulations and benefits required by law. They were replaced by fucking DoorDash, by fucking Uber, where you're a contractor and you don't get fucking shit for shit, and pay has actually been going down as they've been increasing fees and saying more about their record profits. I don't think that's good, and I fucking hate Trump for fucking flubbing the COVID response, but also he's wrong on human rights. Fundamentally, who is safer? Americans are safer in general, not just the ones with the white penises that are easily emasculated when a person puts on a dress that they don't think should be allowed to because they're worried they're going to find them hot. But insecure white penises, I will tell you that, Matthew, they are at the biggest risk of being triggered little snowflakes as they've ever been, and that's why America's going to hell in a handbag. That's basically their argument.
Going to hell.
The way you said it, I wouldn't say it that way, but that's one of the reasons why I'm not even though I do talk a lot about the trans movement and all that, I do find it funny that the red pillars will probably get confused because they want to sleep with anyone and anything. So that that'll probably be interesting to see play out. But I'm not concerned about that. Obviously, I'm brown, but my main concern is that you said that Americans are safer now than they were back then
Correct.
4 years ago, and I
Correct.
want you to explain that to me.
I could do it in multiple ways. This is the last point we're going to go over because this call has gotten nowhere, and
Sure.
you've been shown to be wrong multiple times, and somehow your opinion is that, oh
Sure,
shit, maybe
sure.
I should start changing and thinking about my vote. In multiple aspects,
I don't vote.
one, we have not. Oh well, this,
Wow.
so you're not even. We're calling. You're supposed to be calling for why you're voting for. I guess it only said one good reason. You're like, well, technically, I'm
Exactly.
not even voting. So we're talking to a non-voter who's trying to look for a loophole to be on. So we are going to make this short. Your health is safer. Your climate, though not good, the fact that we're actually doing stuff on climate is safer, which affects our long term because climate is a human ending possibility to do nothing on. But your health is safer because we had a COVID response. We've had a vaccine distribution. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the red states are trying to still fuck that up as much as they can, but we got actually through it and we actually got the vaccines distributed. And now you're at less of a chance, Matthew. I'm not even worried about you dying. I'm worried about you getting long COVID. I'm worried about many people getting long COVID because as people with long COVID will tell you, it fucking sucks and takes your life away from you. And that is far more common than actually dying is. But let's not forget, over 1 million Americans died and nowhere near that amount had to die because of the way Donald Trump handled COVID. So your health, from a perspective of national security, I don't even know how to say that that's any different, honestly, because Biden has been rather right-wing in his handling of Gaza. But as far as compared to Trump, the fact that he hasn't just basically gone, yes, daddy, go ahead and take those parts of Ukraine you want. The fact that Biden is actually supporting Ukraine and not trying to get a deal. We're going to get a deal where their sovereignty, we can suspend that sovereignty. The fact that we're not doing that also makes us safer in the long run because, one, we have diminished resources of Russia, who is still a potential military adversary, and it further prevents them from expanding further into Europe. We stop them in Ukraine so that we don't have to, Matthew, put boots on the ground in Poland. Because guess what happens if Russia invades Poland as a member of NATO? American troops go fight also.
Okay.
Have we changed your mind on anything tonight, Matthew, by chance?
Just gonna go. Fox News will cover it.
I think there was
They'll take care of
something
them.
part of. Yeah, there was something that you guys said. I can't remember now, but I'm sure when I hang up, I'll remember it.
Okay, well, why don't you go back and watch the video again and check each of our claims. Fact check us, okay? And if we turn out to be right, I hope you'll change your mind.
Okay.
All right. Bye, Matthew.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching that clip. Hey, we're trying to do some data research about whether or not our callers successfully proved that God existed. If they didn't, don't forget to like and subscribe. That's how we know they failed. But if you don't like and subscribe, you're saying that they succeeded. So you're saying that by liking and subscribing, you will be affirming that you are an atheist. Hey, what else should they do?
I don't know. Maybe go to patreon.com/calltheline and donate some of their hard-earned money.
Like and subscribe.